a South Korean soldier finds a lottery ticket worth 6 billion won. Before he can cash it in, a gust of wind rips it from his hands and sends it across the border. Now his fortune is on enemy ground, and getting it back could get him killed. The movie opens with two men drinking in a small bar. The bar announces a simple promotion and hands out lottery tickets to the guests. But one of the men doesn't bother taking his ticket, and in the middle of the noise and laughter, the piece of paper slips away, carried by the wind, drifting farther and farther until it lands on a military vehicle moving toward the border between North and South Korea. Meanwhile, a South Korean soldier named Park Chun-woo is standing guard near the border. When something light brushes against his boots, he looks down and sees a lottery ticket at his feet. He pockets it casually and goes on with his duty. That night, Chun-woo sits in the barracks watching television when the lottery results begin to play. One by one, the numbers appear on screen. By the fifth number, his breathing turns shallow, and his fingers begin to tremble as he checks the ticket. When the sixth number appears and matches as well, Chun-woo freezes, and then, without warning, his heart begins to race so violently that he collapses to the floor. The next morning he starts laughing out of nowhere. Then moments later he is crying like someone who has just lost everything, and everyone in the camp thinks he's lost his mind. When he is alone, he takes out the ticket again, and checks the numbers slowly, carefully, once, twice, 3 times, and every single time the result is the same. The ticket is real. He has won 5.7 billion won, nearly $4 million US. In his mind, his future appears instantly. Once he finishes his service, he'll walk out a rich man. All he needs to do is keep the ticket safe until the day he is discharged from the army. The next morning, Chun-woo reports to the guard tower for duty and carefully hides the lottery ticket inside a book about wealth and success, the kind of book he never cared about before. And as he flips through the pages, he smiles quietly to himself, already imagining the day he walks out of the army a free man. Then, without warning, a sudden gust of wind slams through the tower, and before Chun-woo can react, the ticket lifts into the air. He lunges for it, panic flashing across his face, chasing it across the tower as if his life depends on it, but the ticket slips through the fence and drifts past the border. Chun-woo freezes, watching helplessly as his future disappears into North Korea. On the other side, a North Korean soldier named Young-ho notices something fluttering near his boots, a small piece of paper covered in strange numbers. He picks it up and squints at it, confused. He has never seen a lottery ticket before and has no idea what it means. To him, it looks useless. Annoyed, he tosses it away and walks off. But the ticket refuses to disappear. Moments later, it lands at his feet again. Irritated, Young-ho finally stuffs it into his pocket. Later, inside the office, he shows it to another soldier named Jin, who knows a little more about the outside world. Jin stares at the paper, then quietly explains that it is a South Korean lottery ticket. Curious, they find a way to check the numbers online. The screen loads slowly. Then both men go completely still. The ticket is worth billions. Back in South Korea, Chun-woo hasn't slept. He calculates wind direction, distance, speed, anything that could tell him where the ticket landed. That night he sneaks out and steps into the DMZ. He moves forward carefully, but no matter how far he searches, the ticket is nowhere to be found. Then he hears strange sounds in the darkness, and a figure appears. It is Young-ho. When Young-ho realizes Chun-woo is from the south, he introduces himself calmly and reveals the truth. He has found a winning lottery ticket and needs a South Korean to cash it. In return, he offers 10% of the money. Chun-woo's eyes light up the moment he sees the ticket, and he immediately claims it as his, reciting the winning numbers perfectly. But Young-ho refuses to back down. He picked it up first, and to him that makes it his. The argument grows tense until distant lights suddenly appear in the darkness. Both men panic. With no choice, they agree to meet again at the same spot in 3 days. By then, Chun-woo's strange behavior has already raised suspicion. His captain Kang notices his repeated disappearances at night. When Chun-woo finally tells him the truth about the lottery ticket, Kang laughs it off, convinced his soldier has lost his mind, until Chun-woo shows him a photo. At that moment, a new recruit named Manchel walks in and is unexpectedly pulled into the secret. Soon, the three of them begin planning how to get the ticket back. Chun-woo promises Captain Kang 15% and Manchel 10% once they succeed. When Chun-woo meets Young-ho again, he demands an 80-20 split, arguing that without him, Young-ho would never be able to claim the money. Young-ho shuts him down coldly, saying that getting a South Korean ID would not be that hard if he truly wanted it. Once again, no deal is made. That same night, Young-ho decides to sneak into South Korea with Jin's help and take the money himself. But before he can escape, he is caught by his captain Shung. Eventually, to save their lives, he ends up sharing the truth with Shung, and he becomes part of the mission now. The next morning, messages begin passing across the border, disguised as harmless signals, slowly pointing to a place where they can meet that night. After hours of decoding, the South finally understands. The meeting point is the joint supply area. When both sides arrive, the tension is immediate, weapons ready, faces cold, but despite the hostility, they begin to talk. Man Chael explains that South Korea charges a 33% lottery tax, which means after deductions, only about 4 billion won will remain, and because of that, a 90-10 split makes no sense at all. But the North Korean side holds the advantage, since the ticket is still in their possession and they refuse to give in so easily. The discussion drags on, going nowhere. Both sides argue, calculate, and push back, until it becomes clear that no one is willing to trust the other. Later, while discussing amongst themselves, Chun-woo quietly suggests something risky: give in for now. As long as they can get their hands on the ticket, the percentages can always be renegotiated later. The North Koreans, desperate for the money, finally agree to compromise. In the end, both sides settle on a 70-30 split, with the North taking the larger share. They even write up a crude agreement and sign it, believing this will keep things clean. But just as the ticket is about to be handed over, Young-ho hesitates. Something feels wrong. He cannot understand why the South Koreans would suddenly agree to taking a lower percentage so easily. Then, the meeting collapses into chaos and a fight breaks out. At that exact moment, a South Korean supply officer who has been patrolling the area appears. He quickly understands the situation and offers a solution that no one had considered. Since the ticket was picked up by pure chance, it technically belongs to no one. Therefore, the winnings should be split evenly. After a long, tense pause, both sides finally agree. Still, trust remains fragile. Knowing this, the officer suggests an exchange. One soldier from each side will switch places, and only after the money is secured will they return safely. The decision is made. Chun-woo will cross into the north. Young-ho will go south. Neither man truly knows what awaits him on the other side. In the days that follow, they secretly study each other's language, habits, and customs, repeating phrases and copying gestures, terrified that a single mistake could expose them. Then the night of the exchange arrives. Uniforms and weapons are swapped in silence. To mark the moment, they share rare alcohol and food, laughing nervously as if this were not one of the most dangerous decisions of their lives. Chun-woo steps into North Korea. Young-ho crosses into South Korea for the first time ever. In the South, Young-ho finds life surprisingly easy. The training is less brutal, and the cafeteria serves food he has only dreamed of. Everywhere he looks, there are strange machines and technology he has never seen before, and each day feels unreal. Then, during a routine training exercise, disaster strikes. A soldier accidentally steps on a landmine. Panic spreads instantly. No one dares to move, knowing a single step could kill them all. As everyone freezes in fear, Young-ho reacts without thinking. He rushes forward, shoves the injured soldier out of danger, and calmly dismantles the mine. The camp erupts in disbelief, and Young-ho becomes a hero overnight. Senior officers arrive to see the man who saved a life, impressed by his skill and composure, but their questions soon turn dangerous. When asked where he is from, Young-ho panics, forgetting the name of the town, and without thinking, he blurts out that he is from Hamburg, Germany. The officers are stunned. Instead of suspicion, their faces soften. They believe he abandoned a comfortable life overseas to serve his homeland. Then the commander asks him to speak German. In that instant, Young-ho feels his heart drop. With no way out, he begins reciting lines from a German movie he once watched again and again back in the north. The words make no sense to anyone listening. Captain Kang, sensing disaster, immediately jumps in and pretends to translate, turning the gibberish into a moving speech about loyalty, sacrifice, and devotion to the nation. The officers nod solemnly. Some are even moved to tears. Once again, Young-ho survives. Meanwhile, Chun-woo's life in North Korea is a constant state of fear. From the moment he arrives, all warmth disappears. He is thrown into brutal training, humiliated in front of others, and watched every second, knowing that one mistake could expose him. When ordered to break a granite block with his stomach, Chun-woo freezes, then desperately launches into an emotional patriotic speech, filled with slogans and praise. The officers are impressed by his passion, but still demand the demonstration. Just in time, Captain Chung arrives and intervenes. Chun-woo is reassigned to work on a farm instead. At the farm, Chun-woo slowly bonds with the new recruits. Together, they nurse an injured wild piglet back to health. And they explain that their most important mission is getting the chickens to lay eggs. By pure coincidence, this happens to be Chun-woo's specialty. One night, Chun-woo leaves club music playing through the barn. By morning, chaos breaks out. The chickens lay an impossible number of eggs. Officers rush in, stunned by what they see. Chun-woo is quickly labeled a farming genius, praised endlessly, and ordered to be sent to Pyongyang for advanced training, a move that would almost certainly expose him. As he is driven away, a woman named Yun-hee suddenly steps in front of the vehicle and brings it to a halt. She calmly informs the officers that higher command has decided Chun-woo must stay behind to document his farming methods first. Later, she introduces herself to Chun-woo as Young-ho's sister. She knows about the lottery ticket, and she reveals that she has managed to buy him some time. Back in South Korea, the plan to cash the lottery ticket finally begins, but leaving the camp requires medical leave, and Captain Kang bluntly tells Man-chul the fastest way is to break either an arm or a leg. He promises he will be sent to the best hospital and only need to endure a month in a cast. After a long pause, Man-chul makes his choice. Captain Kang raises a weapon and strikes him. Later, Man-chul is discharged and sent to the hospital, and before he leaves, Captain Kang tells him to hide the lottery ticket inside his underwear to avoid being robbed. After leaving the hospital, Man-chul takes the subway to avoid suspicion, but his nerves betray him. He keeps adjusting his underwear, glancing around anxiously, and soon people begin staring. Then phones come out. Within hours, videos of him spread online, branding him a creep and a pervert, while Captain Kang watches in horror, unable to stop it. At the bank, chaos erupts. Brokers swarm Man-chul like vultures, security guards chase him through the building, and in the confusion, he loses his phone. Captain Kang tries reaching him, but there is no answer. Desperate, Kang searches social media and traces Man-chul's location through viral posts, eventually realizing he is eating at a knife-cut noodle shop. Kang calls the restaurant and finally reaches him. Later, Man-chul manages to meet a wealthy woman through a broker and exchanges the lottery ticket for cash. Not only does he secure a lower tax rate, but he receives the money immediately in US dollars. Meanwhile, in North Korea, a security officer grows suspicious of Chun-woo's identity. Records show he joined on the 16th, yet no soldier arrived that day. The question becomes impossible to ignore. Chun-woo is summoned to an office, where the officer points a gun at him and demands the truth. Just as everything seems lost, Yun-hee arrives. To save Chun-woo, she pretends to attack him, then suddenly knocks the officer unconscious. Knowing the situation is now out of control, Captain Sung contacts Captain Kang and orders Chun-woo to return immediately. The deal will be concluded that very night. Later, Captain Sung bribes the security officer with money and makes it clear that silence is his only option if he wants to live. That night, both sides gather at a remote meeting point, tension heavy in the air as they wait for Man-chul to arrive. When he finally appears, a shadow steps forward. The security officer emerges, holding Captain Sung at gunpoint. He rejects every attempt to calm him down, refusing any share. He wants everything. With a weapon in his hand, no one dares to resist. Negotiations collapse in an instant. Just as violence seems inevitable, a wild boar suddenly bursts out of the darkness, snatches the bag of money, and charges straight into a minefield. The security officer chases after it and is killed the moment he steps on a mine. Everyone stands frozen, watching the fortune disappear. When all hope seems gone, Man-chul quietly reveals a hidden stash of money he had kept inside his uniform. The amount is far less than expected, but still enough to change their lives in small, meaningful ways. At dawn, Chun-woo and Young-ho exchange uniforms one final time and stand facing each other in silence. For a brief moment, they were partners, equals, even friends, bound not by borders, but by greed, luck, and survival. Then the line between them returns. They turn and walk back to their respective sides. Life goes on, but that moment stays with them forever.